Hello folks, Root Beer here. I'm going to be starting my mini-series about the Poincaré Hyperbolic Disc Model. We're going to do some straight edge compass stuff there. And for this very first video, we're not going to be figuring out how to create line segments or how to create hyperbolic circles or anything. We're just going to set up the hyperbolic disc that creates our model. And we're also going to create a very special type of point called an inverse point, and that'll actually be the very first tool that we create. So, one thing I want our hyperbolic disc. I don't really need the center or the sides there. We're just going to treat everything in terms of this disc, and we're going to make a special disc. So we're going to make it nice bright red, and we're going to up the thickness a little bit. There we go. Line thickness will make it a nice fat 11. There we go. So inside this disk is where we're going to construct our points and our lines, all with hyperbolic geometry rather than Euclidean geometry. The main feature being, and we'll see this in future episodes, that you can have multiple parallel lines to a given line, as opposed to, say, in Riemannian geometry, where there aren't parallel lines, and Euclidean geometry, whereas if you have one line and a point off that line, there's only one parallel line going through that point. Okay? But as I say, we're not there yet. We're going to create one new tool, and that's just going to help us out. And it's going to create what we call inverse points. So I'm going to have this point here. We'll give him a name. Rename, that's the one I want. So that'll be our point A. From A, we're going to construct a very special point outside of our disk, and we're going to do it with straight edge and compass, as I try and do all the time. And it's going to be sort of, it's a point known as the inverse point to A with respect to this circle. This circle being our entire hyperbolic space. Everything we care about is going to be constructed in here, but to do some of the constructions I want to do with compass and straight edge, we'll need some stuff outside here, because this is a Euclidean space representation, or a Euclidean plane representation, of what hyperbolic geometry is. Okay, so first things first, we need the center of our disk, so we're just going to shortcut that with this little tool right here. But this will make it so that we don't have to start knowing what the center is, and we can just have our construction based solely on our point A and the disk that we're doing all our geometry in. Alright, so the next thing we do is we connect the center to this point. Alright, and while we're using some shortcuts, we're going to create a perpendicular line through here, through A. We're going to get the point on the disk that intersects here. So we'll connect the center up with that, and you'll notice we have a right angle triangle here. What we're going to do is get another right angle triangle, and the other point that we need to make this triangle is going to be outside the circle, and that will be what we call the inverse point. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, we could mess about with a whole bunch of straight edge and compass constructions. I've done videos on that, so I decided I'm just going to use the GeoGebra tools to their advantage. So let's get a right angle. It's the tangent line here. Okay, and now it's this point here that we're interested in. This is the inverse of point A. So we can hide just about everything. And we just care about this point. Now I'm going to give it a name so that I can find it in the GeoGebra tool making device. So from A we get inverse point B, and we can even move A around. As A gets closer to the center, B gets further out, and as A gets closer to the edge of our space, B gets closer to the edge of the space as well, from the outside. Alright, so let's create a new tool. So our output objects are going to be our point B here. And our input objects are going to be point A. So we'll get rid of these other ones. So we care about point A, and we also care about circle C, the nice big red circle. So when we click on the circle and our given point, it will create our inverse point out here. So we'll call this the inverse point tool. And I did create some special icons here so that we can use those. So that'll be our inverse point icon, and we're done. So we'll be using this new inverse point tool in the future, in future videos. The next video we're going to do is going to be creating a line, a hyperbolic line, and then we'll eventually get to hyperbolic circles, and then we'll have our straight edge and compass. So let's just see how this guy would work. So we use this circle, oops, point here, and this circle, and we get our point out here, F. Point, circle. Okay. I'm going to, in the meantime, fix it so that these guys aren't named when I output them. But there we go. So, look forward to seeing you guys for the next video as we use this inverse point tool to create some interesting hyperbolic lines inside our hyperbolic disk. So I'll see you guys next time.